Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the New Health Conversation. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I started the New Health Conversation a number of years ago. This is a podcast. It's not an infomercial. We're going to share with you today medical evidence of this amazing new weight loss breakthrough. It's not just some celebrity hype, whatever. It's backed by 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies. 7. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. I've done over 1,500 lectures all over the world. I've been interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, and I've written 4 best-selling books, which I actually have them here, just so you know that I'm not making this up. I'm going to show you real quickly. The first book that I wrote was a huge bestseller in 2010 called Why Diets Are Failing Us. We're going to talk about some of that today. Then I wrote the TDOS syndrome, which stands for toxicity driven by nutritional deficiency, causing us to be overweight and stressed. It's a new medical syndrome proving that we're storing chemicals inside of our body. And then the antidote to that is the TDOS solutions, which really we're going to show you today in these 7 new peer-reviewed studies. And then the last book is called, it's on a trick title, Your Third Brain, written with one of the top oncologists in the world, who's also a molecular biologist. So I come to this with quite a bit of, 21 years of experience, but I can tell you this, that during those 21 years, everything I did, it meant nothing to the medical world. They didn't care. The only thing that mattered to the medical world was obviously peer-reviewed human trial studies. And we now have 7 of them. We're going to give you also, we're going to show you the medical proof now in study after study as to why diets aren't working and what you can do about it, or nothing. You can continue to do whatever you want to do, but if you're following any of these providers, what are they telling you? They're telling you that the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Well, in my book, like I said, my first book, which came out, 14 years ago, Why Diets Are Failing Us, it's because counting calories is so ridiculous. The human body doesn't know what a calorie is. Why are we counting calories? Because someone told us. The only thing the body cares about is nutrition. It doesn't care about calories. So at a minimum, we need to be in a position where we can at least find out, is there something different that can be done? Well, these researchers are the top diet nutritional researchers in the entire world. And what did they find in these studies? That weren't diets, weren't based on calorie counting. It was a completely different approach. Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet you've ever seen. Excuse me, they ended up losing as much weight in 30 days as people lost on diets in a year. We'll show you the medical proof. The one cool thing about what we do with the New Health Conversation is we don't give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's people probably a lot more popular than me with, a million followers, whatever. But what are they telling you to do? What they're showing and telling you to do doesn't work. We got 80% of America overweight and 50% of those people are obese. Does anybody really think that diets are working? Because they're not. And the thing we want to do for you is, again, I'm going to show you here. You can go at any point to our website. It's called the New Health Conversation. And you can absolutely see the medical proof. Oh, I didn't post it. I'm sorry. There you go. The New Health Conversation. It's a free website. You can go there. There's nothing that you can. There's nothing to buy there. It's all the medical proof. But if you do like what you see, we offer the option to set up a brand new, and I mean brand new, opinion, knowledge. It's free, but also what I meant, you can set up a free consultation. That's what I stumbled over my own words. So the reason we give you the option to do a free consultation is we don't know anything about you. What if you want to gain weight? What if you want to lose weight? Do you exercise? How old are you? What kind of things are you doing? So the whole idea behind this is to give you a place to go. Because the bottom line is, this is really what we're discussing today, why diets are failing us, because they are. You can't tell me if you've got 80% of America overweight and 50% of those people are obese, that any way, shape, manner, or form that diets are working, because they're not. And so many people right now, not just this time of year, but they're setting their goals, I mean, summer's clicking right along, and they want to get in their, their bathing suit or their shorts or their skinny jeans or whatever it might be. It's a great opinion. But the problem is, based on the medical science that I'm going to share with you today, is that is a sort of a fool's gold type of approach. Not my opinion. But first of all, on all diets, we know just some of the highlights on a traditional diet of lowering calories, that up to 40% of what you lose is your lean muscle mass. And on top of that, when that happens, the body slows down your metabolism. Now you can't burn as many calories as you did before you did. So this is the new health conversation. And I encourage all of you to, you can see the website there, the new health conversation. It's free. All the medical data is there. But again, aren't you a little bit curious? If you could lose as much weight in 7 days safely as 8 weeks of any diet, instead of losing water or lean muscle mass, actually gaining with no exercise 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, aren't you at least a little bit curious? So again, I welcome you to the new health conversation. It's going to be all about proving to you from the scientific standpoint of view, why in the world are we still counting calories and relying on that protocol when 80% of America's overweight and 50% are obese? It just doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, you can continue to do it. You see all these people, they're showing you, 3 recipes to lose weight, how to cut, 300 calories to lose weight. But with 80% of America overweight and 50% of those people obese, does anyone really think that any of that's working? You have an amazing opportunity. The thing I know that we're fighting is obviously skepticism. You've been made all these promises. You've gone on diets and you've lost the weight and gained it all back or more. You can't possibly think that 80% of Americans are not trying to lose weight. But if 80% are overweight and 50% are obese, does anybody really think that diets work? Do you see the sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's crazy what's going on. So I hope that you will, take the time to go to the website. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation. It's free to go there. There's no tricks. There's nothing to buy. It's all the scientific proof, both because we're being fair. On the one side, we're showing you the peer-reviewed studies. I've got them all here, right in my hand, of the major diets from paleo to keto to Mediterranean. No, Key, that's not. No, I'm very sorry to tell you that is fool's gold. Let's talk about that for just a moment, okay? And I'm not against the shots, but let's talk about science. Let's not talk about opinions, okay? This is a big study it came out in the New England Journal of Medicine. After 68 weeks, this is semaglutide, but semaglutide, Ozempic, they're all pretty much the same. In 68 weeks, take a wild guess, Key, at how much weight they lost in 68 weeks. Right in the study, not an opinion, 34 pounds in 68 weeks. And in the study, 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. All I can tell you, Key, when you lose lean muscle mass, 2 of the most unhealthy things happen to your body. Number 1, the body has no choice but to begin to use your muscles for fuel. And when that happens, what the body does, you have no control over it. It slows down your... Talk to the people that are coming off the shots, Key. That's the key. You'll see they're gaining as much as a half a pound a day. Now, why is that? Because again, not my opinion. No, exactly, Key. Now you're getting it, right? But Key, let me continue. Not only did they lose 34 pounds in 68 weeks, right in the study, 40% of the weight loss, right in the New England, was lean muscle mass. That's why they're gaining all the weight back. But Key, it's not just, it wouldn't be the shot. It's every single diet out there. That's what's happening. Yeah, muscle mass. And when you lose muscle mass, someone's commenting there, you're slowing down your metabolism. You come off out of Key, I don't care what diet it is. Look, we can't have 80% of America overweight and 50% of those people obese if diets work. It's just, it's nuts. But what do? We keep looking for the new title. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, this big buzz now around time-restricted eating. When I share with you what time-restricted eating, what the real results are, it'll be crazy. 21 years, Ben, 21 years. And Ben also, and again, not to impress you, but impress upon you. I've written 4 best-selling books. I have them right here, so you don't think I'm making it up, all with medical doctors. My first one in 2010 was a huge bestseller, Why Diets Are Failing Us, where I proved that doing diets by counting calories was pretty much missed the boat. Then I wrote the TDOS syndrome, which is a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Really big deal, not a copyright, a registered trademark. So this is up there with metabolic syndrome, syndrome X. What's TDOS stand for? T is for toxicity, the D is for deficiency, the O is for being overweight, the S is for stress. And what I opened the world's eyes to, thank you very much, Key. What I opened the world's eyes to was the fact we're storing, not me, we're storing chemicals in our fat cells, not up for debate. But here's what's shocking. It wasn't until 2005 that Mount Sinai Medical School in New York, yeah, I've done 20 shows on PBS, as a matter of fact, also. But it wasn't until 2005 that Mount Sinai Medical School in New York did the first study on humans proving we were storing chemicals in our visceral fat. That's why it's not just that people are overweight, but it's the amount of fat, because the body's only way to protect us is to take the chemicals out of play and stuff them in our visceral fat. In the studies. Oh, let me show you the other two books I wrote, okay? So TDOS syndrome, why diets are failing us. And then this is really what we're going to be discussing today. The TDOS solutions is proven now in these peer-reviewed human trial studies. And then the last one, not a trick title, called Your Third Brain. I wrote it with this gentleman here, who's probably, his name is Dr. Marco Ruggiero, probably one of the top oncologists in the world. He's also a molecular biologist. To give you an idea of his resume, most medical doctors, researchers in a lifetime want to get published in these big medical journals, and they'll do 15, 20 papers published. He's had 237 papers published in the biggest medical journals in the world, and 2 of his papers are in the top 10% of all medical papers ever published. Because I'm the researcher of the research. This is not my research. But, you know, it's pretty obvious that when you get to hang around with someone with those kind of credentials, you're probably going to learn something, okay? So the point is this. Our goal at the New Health Conversation is to give you an option, okay? What's your option now? Can anybody tell me in the comments? Yeah, PFAs and PFOS, Ben, 1,000,000% yes, but it's a lot more than that. Let me go a little bit deeper into this for all of you again, so you don't think, but I'm the one that discovered the TDOS syndrome, and now other people are waking up to it, right? So this is a great book. I didn't write it, The New American Diet, written by Stephen Perrin, editor at Men's Health. Listen to what they say about these chemicals that the scientists have now given these chemicals. What kind of chemicals are we talking about? Herbicides, pesticides, Scotchgard, Teflon. As we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating, we're stuffing these chemicals in our fat cells. But listen, they have a name. They're called, listen to what they say, obesogens. That's a scary word and one you've probably never heard before. But if you want to lose weight and keep it off for good and protect your body, your family, and your environment in the bargain, you'll need to understand the term. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal systems, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our bodies from a variety of sources, from soy products, from artificial hormones fed to animals, from plastic pollutants in some food packaging, from chemicals added to processed food, and from pesticides sprayed on our produce. They act in a variety of ways, mimicking human hormones such as estrogen and testosterone. And they're altering, wow, and they're altering the function of our genes and reprogram us to gain weight. What are you doing about obesogens? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm seriously, what are you doing about it? Because there's no diet out there, no, whether it's paleo, keto, Mediterranean, none of them, zero, have ever produced one shred of evidence to removing anything from the body except lowering your lean muscle mass, right? Well, in these seven new peer-reviewed human trial studies, this was done by the top diet researchers in the world for almost 40 years, right? They have analyzed every diet out there, essentially for losing weight. But they now realize that they said, wait a minute, is there a way we can sort of upregulate the human body to see if it will remove the chemicals? See, every night when you go to sleep, as long as you don't eat too late, once you go to sleep, your body suspends digestion. And when that happens, it automatically begins a natural detox process. You don't have to do anything. It's called autophagy. Basically means the body gets rid of the dead cells and the debris, but it's also when we're sleeping, when we build lean muscle mass, okay? Well, the researchers, through blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, not an opinion, they had the medical evidence proving that this protocol, first and foremost, we're removing chemicals in blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis from the body. Well, what did they find in the studies? They didn't expect this to be a weight loss program. As a matter of fact, they didn't let anybody even exercise, men and women, and they lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as a year in any diet, but they also proved it was removing the chemicals, evidenced by the fact that the visceral fat, that's where the body's storing the chemicals, shrank by 33% in 8 weeks with no exercise allowed. And in a month, people's blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides came down, along with inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. Hunger came down by 41% in a month. There's a reason for it. Because what they learned what didn't work. They said every diet they ever put anybody on, and they always did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis in all the studies they did. They never saw anything like this. Oh, yeah. I got these today, as a matter of fact, so thank you. But anyway, to make a long story short, this produced what the researchers never expected. Never. Okay? And so what they did, how did they do what they did? Well, first, they realized that every diet they'd ever put somebody on, yes, they lost weight. But when they analyzed what kind of weight were they losing, up to 40% of the weight they lost, no matter whether it was paleo or keto or Mediterranean or time-restricted eating, was lean muscle mass. And what was the outcome of that? Every time, the people gained all their weight back or more than what they originally lost. So they said, wait a minute, something's wrong with this picture. What we need to do is see, the whole concept of lowering calories is really lowering the amount of food you're consuming, let's be honest. But what no one's telling you is you're lowering nutrition. It's just a given. You can't lower the amount of food and not lower the amount of nutrition. I mean, come on, it doesn't work. And when you do that, you trip an alarm in the body where the body goes into starvation mode. And in starvation mode, the body will do what? It'll go and look for the nutrition. Where does it find it? In your organs, particularly your muscles. So what it does, it converts your muscles into carbohydrates for fuel, and then two of the most unhealthy things possible happen to you. Number one, the body doesn't have a choice. There's not enough fuel, so what does it do? It slows down your metabolism. Now, not what not the metabolism like when you're working out, but what's called your basal metabolic rate. It's a fancy term for the amount of calories you burn when you're sleeping, resting, sitting at your desk. Excuse me. And so what happens without you doing anything, you can't burn as many calories. That's why you plateau. I see one of the influencers, she lost 60 pounds last year, and I've been following her for weeks and weeks and weeks. She hasn't lost another ounce. She thinks she's going to lose 40 more pounds this year. Good luck. Because what's happened is that 60 pounds, I hate to tell her this, about 40% of it, almost 24 pounds, is lean muscle mass. So she's setting herself up to lose more weight by continuing. And she keeps saying the only way to lose weight is a mathematical formula. Where did you get that data? Because no science supports that anymore, okay? I mean, I digress. I'll come back to that in a moment, I promise, okay? So what happens, not only do you slow down your metabolism, as the body has to, it doesn't have a choice. There's not enough fuel to go around. And why do we need nutrition? For our brain, our heart, our kidneys, our lungs, but it starts in our muscles. So that's bad enough, all right? But the second thing that happens, it's even more alarming, is it also interferes with your own immune system. Didn't we learn anything in the last 4 or 5 years how important our immune system is? So you're going to fit in your skinny jeans. Look, here's the thing I'm going to tell you right now. Post any diet you want up there, you're going to lose weight. But the medical evidence proves that up to 40% of what you're losing, you're fooling yourself. You're losing lean muscle mass. Now let's look at what are the experts saying about lowering calories. Not my opinion. We don't give you opinions. We don't make claims. We only give you medical evidence, okay? No, key in these studies, okay, key. Let me explain it to you. In these peer-reviewed studies, on purpose, the researchers didn't allow anybody to exercise because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. It would have been a factor, right? And yet, key, despite that, and I'll explain to you why in just a moment. I have a lot to cover. the people, instead of losing lean muscle mass, which I've been telling you, no, Chris, you're completely wrong. Chris, no. Chris, let's go through some of the data. Let's first go to Harvard Medical School about counting calories. The title of the article, Stop Counting Calories. This is one of the leading obesity experts in the entire world. That's not me. What does she say? The idea of calories in, calories out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist at Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach, putting the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not how many calories you're sustaining. Chris, that's out the window. It's nonsense, complete nonsense. Because when you're lowering calories, you're lowering nutrition. The body goes in starvation mode. And in all the studies, they prove it. They prove, okay? You're in. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I'm glad someone is sick. And again, I don't want, I love opinions, but let's go to another big, this article's entitled Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. Okay. So again, Chris, let's go to reality here, right? Listen to what they said. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. Chris, it isn't my opinion. These are the world experts now, right? They go on to say, while counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. They go on to say, what's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count and restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. Okay, but if that's not enough proof, let's come over here and take a look at the New England Journal of Medicine. You can see the title, so I'm not making it up. This was a 12-month study on lowering calories versus time-restricted eating, another form really of lowering calories. What did they find in the New England Journal of Medicine? 12 months. After 12 months, the people who lowered calories to lose weight lost in 12 months 16 pounds. That's in a year, okay? Then the time-restricted eating group, it was even more ridiculous. They lost 12.6 pounds in a year. But here again, New England Journal, not my opinion. I don't give you opinions. My opinion shouldn't mean a thing to you. The medical evidence should. Okay, so what did they say? Both the time-restricted eating and daily caloric restriction diets led to the loss of lean muscle mass. Period. End of the story. Not up for debate. And then let's go, I'm not opposed to the shot. Someone's asked me about Ozempic. Okay, this is a 68-week study, 68 weeks on semaglutide. And I'm not opposed to the shots. I think they're probably helping people. But I'm not sure. I'm an expert, and this is CAP. I got my certificate from TikTok. I don't know what you're talking about, Swift Gal. See, it doesn't matter. Okay, so 68 weeks, okay? 34 pounds weight loss. And right in the study, 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. Look, I don't give, I'm the researcher of the researchers. I've made that very clear. But when you're talking about peer-reviewed human trial studies, any of you that want to comment doesn't mean a thing. Unless you have a peer-reviewed human trial study, I know for 20 years, I didn't have them. Not me, I didn't have them, but this protocol did. Now they had. I'm not sure what CAP even means, but that's okay. Oh, JD is saying that, right? Well, I mean, JD, you don't have to agree with me. You're a nutritional counselor. You went to college for it. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Not because you have to. But again, if we're talking about peer-reviewed human trial studies, they're irrefutable. It's not like you can have a discussion about it. Do you understand that when some of you may or may not? Why is a peer-reviewed human trial study so important? Because it's the most rigorous scientific scrutiny of anything. Like no drug ever gets approved. What do you mean source? Trust me, Brew. I'm reading New England Journal of Medicine. Is that enough credibility for you? The #1 medical journal in the world? I'm not giving you an opinion. Why would I give you an opinion? That doesn't mean anything. I mean, everybody has opinions, right? So the point is that now we have 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies. Well, in the Obesity Journal, in the Nutrition Journal, in Frontiers in Nutrition, in Frontiers in Physiology, in Nutrients, in the International Journal of Environmental Research in Public, and the most recent one published in Nature Communications, which is the #1 weight loss health medical journal in the world. That's what I rely on, not opinions, right? It's not a matter of harassing me. It's like this happens all the time. And again, I don't have time. Because Ashley, do you feel that, would you rather have me give you an opinion? Or would you rather give you irrefutable medical proof? Look, here's the thing that I would say to with all due respect, to any of the people that want to make comments. If 80% of Americans are overweight and 50% are obese and 50% of Americans are pre-diabetic, you're going to tell me that diets work? How do you research it? I've spent 21 years of my life, Zacatero, being a nutritional researcher. But also, for some of you that missed it in the beginning, okay, so I've written 4 best-selling books with medical doctors. They're right here. The first one is called Why Diets Are Failing Us. The second one is a medical syndrome that I discovered. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office called TDOS that every person on this call and no diet has ever touched it. The T is for toxicity, the D is for deficiency, the O is for being overweight, and the S is for stress. Every one of you, every person in the world has the TDOS syndrome, okay? Then the third book I wrote was the antidote, the TDOS solutions. Like, what can you do about it? Because a regular diet doesn't touch this, okay? And then the last one, called Your Third Brain, is not a trick title. I wrote it with probably the top oncologist in the world, who's also a molecular biologist. But I'm the researcher of the research. I didn't do the research. I'm just bringing it to everybody for free. You don't have to listen to me. You can go. There's plenty of people on TikTok. If you think that we're doing great with 80% of people overweight and 50% obese and 50% pre-diabetic, go for it. It's a free country, right? My job is simply to show you real medical proof, both on diets, traditional diets, and on this new protocol that's going to change everything that anybody ever thought. Now, unless you just think I'm making it up and it's just a United States problem, here's the Lancet, considered probably the #1 medical journal in the world out of England. What did they say in a new study? More than 1 billion people now are globally are clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition in the world. What? It's not my opinion, again. And what did they go on to say? Most people are not aware that obesity and being underweight are both forms of malnutrition, because in both cases, the people are not getting the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories that are required to be healthy. That's the point of the whole thing. It has nothing to do with calories. It only has to do with what's inside the calorie. Daniel, are you still writing? To be quite honest with you, Daniel, because of the new studies that come out, I probably need to rewrite at least 1 or 2 of my books, but I'm doing as much social media now as possible, because obviously it's a much bigger audience, and I'm not trying to impress you. I want to impress upon you. But before COVID, I was this close to signing to do a whole television series in New York and also in California, and that all stopped. So then I discovered Zoom, and more recently in the last, I don't know how many, well, I've only been doing these podcasts on TikTok now for about 6 weeks, and obviously the reception has been pretty incredible. I followed you because I'm curious. So, wow. Well, Sunflower, it was called The New Health Conversation. We shot about 400 hours of film. We had major people that we interviewed. Some of these, like the oncologist, it's the top oncologist in the world. I also and I'm just telling you, okay? Don't take it wrong. But one of my colleagues that we interviewed is the top geneticist in the world, who he and his team discovered the gene that causes aging in human beings. And all 4 books I wrote with medical doctors, MDs, okay? Because again, I want everybody to understand, Lonnie Summerford, okay. I followed you because, wow, TV. Okay, so again, any of you that want to, we've created this for you, the New Health Conversation. You can go there. It's a free website. There's nothing to buy there. Only thing on that site is medical proof. The studies are there, the breakdown of the studies. But here's the thing that you should be excited about. There's a major interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world for 38 years. And with all due respect, there's no one on here that's one of the top nutritional researchers in the world for 38 years that's analyzed every diet out there. This worked with Green Berets and Navy SEALs and marathoners and CrossFit people and triathletes, etc. Okay, I don't say that to disparage anybody, but that's the level of person that I'm sharing this information. Did you know the fountain if you share? Actually, does Artem detail? Yes, Jim. Okay, so Jim, let me prove to you. Not me prove to you, the medical evidence, okay? So what they did, Jim, in the studies, They looked at blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. And they had unequivocal evidence in those measurements that the body was removing herbicides and pesticides and Scotchgard plastics, etc. Okay. Cheeks, 1992 video quality. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. You mean the camera, or what are we talking about here? Does the video quality change the scientific proof? I mean, do you want a Hollywood production? That doesn't change the information. Look, here's why I rely on science. It has no emotions. It has no judgments. It just exactly. Okay, I was confused. Camera. Well, that's interesting. Is it hard to see, or? No, it's absolutely, this is live today. It's July 14th at 2:49 in the afternoon in Denver. It's 4:49 on the East Coast, and obviously 1:49 in California, and Hawaii it's earlier. No, this is not a recording. It's absolutely, it just looks old. I don't know, Cheeks, I can't. I mean, this is a very expensive laptop. It's actually a gaming computer, which is supposed to have amazing graphics. So I'll see what I can do about that moving forward, because obviously there's a lot of interest in this science. It's not about me. No, don't be sorry. I'm happy for the feedback. Okay, look. So let's really let's look at a couple more things. Okay, I'm not disparaging any people that you want to follow. You can do whatever you want to do, but I would ask you this: have any of them ever showed you one shred of medical proof about what they're claiming? Like three diets to lose weight, cut 300 calories a day to lose weight. I mean, when we've got people like one of the top obesity experts in the world from Harvard Medical School, her article was "Stop Counting Calories." That's not Peter Greenlaw telling you that. I don't know. People love to, I don't know, because they have nothing else to do on a Sunday afternoon, right? But she said the idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong. Drop the calories notion, she said. It's time to take a different approach by putting the emphasis on what's in the calorie, not how many calories we're counting. But we continue to do that. We continue to seek out what? The new diet, the new influencer on, TikTok, etc. But honestly, have they shown you? Well, first of all, they don't have any medical proof. They have any medical proof that they're assisting the body in. The main reason to do what we're talking about in these studies is not to lose weight. But what did the people do based on what they discovered? Men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in 30 days as a year in any diet. They lost no water weight. And instead of losing lean muscle, which is the case on all the diets, and I have the medical proof to back it up, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. And then they lowered blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides, and inflammation. That's never been happening. Inflammation going down on a diet, forget it. It's never happened in history. So that's what the researchers are so excited. That's why you could be so excited. Not to fit in your skinny jeans. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're talking about if we've got 80% of America overweight, 50% obese, 50% pre-diabetic. That means half of you on this podcast today are pre-diabetic. You probably doesn't even know it. No, Jim, it goes right to ketosis. It doesn't go in full blown, okay? But again, the thing, Jim, that's so amazing is remember, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. Jim, the fact that inflammation, which is measured, sounds like you're knowledgeable, but for the rest of the people, the measurement they do medically to measure inflammation is called T, like Tom Bars, BARS. But more specifically, they're measuring something called C-reactive protein and interleukin-1, which are basically the biomarkers for inflammation. I don't want to get too crazy with the audience on science, but that's what happens. Jim, inflammation went down 25% in 30 days. No one's ever seen anything like this. Oh my gosh, yes. As a matter of fact, as far as acid reflux goes, again, you can go to the website and read it. This study here, done in Nature Communications, the #1 journal in the world, this study was particularly on the gut, not just acid reflux, but Crohn's, colitis, irritable bowel, etc. I can't share with you the results, but if you go to our website, the New Health Conversation, it's not up there, I'll put it up there again for you. You can read all about it, because I won't do it I don't want to get in trouble on TikTok for sharing then they'd say it's a claim, and it's not a claim because it's published. There it is, the New Health Conversation. You can go there and you can actually see The medical proof. That's what's different about us. That's why I don't really want to get into discussions with people about their opinions. Look, I've been doing this 21 years, okay? Not to impress you. I mean, they flew me to China, for crying out loud. This was, about 10, 12 years ago. They've now got an obesity crisis started in China, believe it or not. I read to you this report in The Lancet, the number one journal in the world. They just finished this. This was published March 19th of this year, 2024, where they said notice they use the term more than 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition worldwide. What? They went on to say most people are not aware that obesity and being underweight are both forms of malnutrition, because in both cases, the people are not getting the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories required to be healthy. There's your downfall of all the diets. Our food, number one, is becoming more and more nutritionally bankrupt. It's not an opinion. You can Google it and see, whether it's broccoli or spinach or cauliflower or whatever. That's why the researchers didn't rely. They only let people consume 40% of the food from the grocery store. Okay, sales, my passion. You can go to please do yourself a favor. You can see it there. I'm highlighting it. The New Health Conversation. Look at the medical evidence first. Then you can sign up for a free consultation. I mean free. No gimmicks, no tricks, no bait and switch. And one of our advisors, who to be an advisor, it's not somebody on 800 number. They've had to have done the program and been trained by me to implement what can do for you, right? But Empath 3, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, right? I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as intermittent fasting, but let me derail intermittent fasting here for you real quickly. Okay, this is a big study done in the Journal of the American Medical Association on intermittent fasting. Again, not my opinion. Wait till you hear what they found. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association, not Peter Greenlaw's opinion. They said, the Journal of the American Medical Association, new research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily, eating all their meals between noon and 8, popularly known as the 16-8 diet, gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds in 3 months. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. So there's your intermittent fasting. But let's not rely just on one study. Let's go now to the New England Journal of Medicine. 12-month study. On one group, lowered calories in, calories out. The other group did time-restricted eating. This is New England Journal of Medicine. Their results, not mine. After 12 months, the group who reduced calories lost, in a year, 16 pounds. The people that did time-restricted eating was 12.6 pounds in a year. And what did they say in the study? Both the time-restricted eating and daily caloric restriction diets led to the loss of lean muscle mass. These are facts. These are not like opinions. I've seen them on social media getting on and telling you do time-restricted eating. You're going to lose 20 pounds in a month, and the main thing you're losing is fat. Completely false. 100% false. And I haven't seen one shred of medical evidence that can back it up. It's just, this is what's happening to us. And here's the thing. Dr. Berg must not. All I'm telling you is, DeBerg, is he the chiropractor that's on, I'm telling you, has he ever showed you a peer-reviewed human trial study? I haven't ever seen him do one. I know he's doing a good job, but you're flying in the face of the medical evidence. But we can go even one step farther. Here's a study done in the Journal of the American Medical Association where they looked at every major diet, including time-restricted eating. Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Paleo, Keto, Mediterranean. I mean, maybe you don't like but science, it doesn't care. It's not my opinion. This was a 12-month study where they looked at every diet out there. Oh, by the way, they looked at 48 different studies, not just one, 7,200 people. At the end of a year, Kevin Jones diet. But this, you've got to understand. See, the thing you're all struggling with, this is not a diet. This has nothing to do with dieting, okay? And if you're going to rely on going on a diet by lowering calories with food from North America, you're going to lose lean muscle mass. You're going to lose weight, but you're going to gain it all back. I mean, that one, let me read this one. Why you shouldn't count calories. Not my opinion. What did they say? Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to counter restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. That's not an opinion. Again, you can do whatever you want to do. If you believe that time restricted eating is great, despite the fact that you're losing about 40% of your lean muscle mass, go for it. We only rely on science. We don't give you opinions. So whether it's, I'm not sure exactly, with all due respect, I think I know who Dr. Berg is. But again, I've watched him. He comes on and draws charts. I've never seen him hold up one peer-reviewed human trial study. Don't give me a scientific study. Don't show me a scientific paper, okay? It's not that. And again, these people blew away every diet out there, including time-restricted eating. It's not even close. They lost as much weight in 7 days as anybody lost on time-restricted eating in 8 weeks. But on time-restricted eating, what did they lose? Lean muscle mass. These people with no exercise gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. That's what we're comparing. Again, Kevin Jones just asked. No, actually, as far as plant-based goes, again, the challenge with a plant-based, okay, well, let's go down another, as long as we're doing this, let's go down another road. One of the most important, one of the building blocks of life are called amino acids. There's actually 20. There are 9 that are essential. You have to get them from your diet, either from a plant-based protein or an animal-based protein, okay? Now, of the 20, there's one in particular called leucine. It's one of the 9, actually the 9 essential. That's the way you build muscle in your body, okay? Again, I don't want you to believe me. In Europe, about 10 years ago, they developed a test when people ingested plant-based proteins or animal-based proteins. Obviously, they got all 20 amino acids. So you would think, well, that's really great. And you hear these people coming on saying, well, you need 120, 150 grams of protein a day. Well, here's the downside. In Europe, this new measurement, which was blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, they could determine when you ingested protein from a plant or from an animal, what percentage of the 20, you got all 20, 0 to 100, were you, was the body able to use. Now, again, for my vegan friends, plant-based, I'm only giving you the science, okay? When they analyze something like a pea protein, which is a protein that has all 20 amino acids, the absorption of that, of the amino acids of that, was 10% out of 100. 90% of what wasn't converted to amino acids is actually a toxin. They're called nitrogen catabolites. The test itself is called net nitrogen utilization, okay? So the point is that ingesting a plant-based protein, and if you're doing it for ethic, I'm not going to make any judgment. All I'm telling you is the science. So when you're looking at plant-based proteins, you're getting about 10% of the amino acids. 90% is toxic waste your kidneys have to get rid of. Now let's go to animal proteins. Not judging, just giving you the difference. Animal, steak, chicken, liver, fish, 30% absorption out of 100. Meaning 70%. See, that's the problem. They tell you ingest 120 grams of protein a day. You think you're getting 120 grams of protein. If it's steak, chicken, liver, you're getting 30% of 120 or 36 grams. Now you've got about, you've got almost 90 grams that your body has to get rid of through your kidneys. That's why, God forbid, you ever had a friend that was on kidney dialysis. They don't want them to have any protein at all, right? Now, in the studies, remember, I told you that people were able to gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. How did they do that? Because the reason they didn't want anybody to exercise, they wanted to prove would you be able to, by increasing the amount of the leucine, would people build lean muscle mass? What were the results? They've gained, with no exercise, 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. And here's why. The researchers found a protein source where the absorption of the amino acids was 91%. That's why they built lean muscle. But the researchers, you got to understand, they realized that our food, if you just put people on a diet with regular food, there just isn't enough nutrition. And when you lower the nutrition, the body goes in starvation mode, and it goes and breaks our muscles down into carbohydrates for fuel. That's why you plateau on a diet. That's why you come off the diet. They already said the 2/3 of people gain back more weight than they lost because you're in a deficit, not calorie, but nutritional deficit, right? What are you, Captain? I'm not selling anything. Have I sold anything? I mean, what are you talking about? You just jump on the call? Sorry. We're talking about 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies of a completely new approach to losing weight, where men and women with no exercise lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in 30 days as anybody in a year on a diet. And instead of losing lean muscle, which is the case on any diet you've ever been on or thought about or talked about, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass. This is not a diet. This is changing people's lives. I mean, how excited would you be? So why is it after the, I'm not sure why is what after the free consultation? By doing what? Okay, Daniel, I'll get back to that. The reason we do the free consultation, we don't know anything about you. Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want any meds? How old are you? How young are you? Do you work out? We do it for free. The consultation, but we don't know what to tell you if we don't know what your goals are, okay? So anyway, it's free consultation. Okay, they're 100% free. Yeah, he knows. He said people do it, etc. We don't have to trick you. That's the difference. We don't have to do a bait and switch. Go to the website. Look at the medical proof. It's not an opinion. I'll put it up there again. The new health conversation. Let me put it up there. You can. How can you build muscle? You build muscle certainly partly by working out, but not mainstay of that is the one of the 20 amino acids called leucine. Talk to bodybuilders. They're consuming 1 to 2 grams of protein for every pound they weigh. What are they trying to get? Not more. No, the thing is that conversion is only 30%. 70% of an animal protein is toxic waste your kidneys have to get rid of. Urea, creatine, ammonia, and glucose. These new tests in Europe proved it. It's called net nitrogen utilization. So just because you ingest 120 grams of protein doesn't mean you're not getting 120 grams of protein. That's the whole point. You're getting 30% of whatever protein you're ingesting. Not an opinion on my part. So the people in these studies who weren't allowed to exercise, they got 91% absorption. That's why they built lean muscle with no exercise. And the researchers aren't against exercise, of course. Why would I be scared to share this? I mean, all I'm doing, first of all, Captain, this is all in the public domain. These are peer review. I'll read you. These are the big medical journals they were in. So the Obesity Journal, the Nutrition Journal, Frontiers in Nutrition, Frontiers in Physiology, Nutrients, International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, and the last one in Nature Communications, the #1 weight loss health journal in the entire world. All I'm doing is making you aware, all of you, of what's possible. I'm not here to convince you. If you want to stay on a diet and count calories and you think your time restricted eating is going to work, or paleo or keto or Mediterranean or whatever, go for it. We're not here to talk you out of it. We're giving you an unbelievable opportunity, though. Because if you go to the website, the New Health Conversation, you can see it there. Someone else typed it for me. Thank you. It's free. And if you go to the web, we're not going to contact you. No way. That's why you get to choose. Once you've looked at everything, sign up for a free consultation or not. There's no obligation. If we have to sell you something, then we missed the boat. If we have to convince you, we really did a horrible job on the website. But I'm only relying on the peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, nothing else. Who else? What other? Okay, so let me ask you a question. What other influences are offering you free consultations? What other influences are showing you peer-reviewed human trial studies? Well, yeah. Well, but I'm not, okay, let's be clear. I'm not against drugs. I'm not. Because if you have high blood pressure, you're diabetic, and your only course of action, thank goodness we do have these drugs, because it would be even worse if we didn't. So I don't want to ever say that I'm not against drugs. What I'm saying is, if it's possible for people, well, we know that all the doctors have said that people with high blood pressure or high blood sugar, if they could lose weight, they need less medication. It's really that simple. So it's not that far-fetched to say, wait a minute, but these medical trials, no other diet regimen has ever produced anything even remotely similar to this. Because the main reason to do this is not to lose weight. Dr. Sebi, I'm not sure who Dr. Sebi is, but that's okay. But the thing is, the influence is coming on, and they're telling you whether somebody said before, Dr. Berg, and with all due respect, I think I'm not sure. I think it's the same one. He's got like 8 million followers. Great, but where is the peer-reviewed human trial studies? Because if he's promoting time-restricted eating, then obviously he's not aware of the Journal of the American Medical Association study on time-restricted eating, and this big New England Journal of Medicine study, and then another one in the Journal of the American Medical Association. We looked at all diets. I mean, they said that time-restricted eating, over the course of 3 months, people lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds, and most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. This isn't my opinion. But I think before you would leap into time-restricted eating or any of these diets, wouldn't you at least want to know, well, really, let's remove the hype. Let's get rid of the salesmanship. Let's just concentrate on what's possible. Well, again, what I would say with all due respect, Captain, okay, because of the fact that for 20 years, I was in the same opinion as Dr. Berg, giving you opinions. But I can tell you in the medical world, it means zero. The fact that I'm now, now I'm talking about 7. Look, some of the biggest doctors in the country now are coming on board who wouldn't even look at this a year ago. One of my good friends, I've known her for like 14 years, is a major oncologist in California. She would never look at this until a year ago. I sent her the peer-reviewed studies. She called me the next day, and I can tell you in the last year, she sent me over 100 of her patients. But she wouldn't touch it without a peer-reviewed human trial study. He means well, he draws graphs, and he's got some of that, but you've got to understand, I'm not sure what cute tumors means. Okay, the solution. What did they do in the medical studies? They did 4 things. 1, they created a grocery list where people took to the grocery store, about 40% of the food they did in the studies. But the other 60% came from 5 food groups from all over the world, from as far away as Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. Now, why did they have to do that? Because the food in this country is becoming all but nutritionally bankrupt. So they knew, look, they've been studying diets for 38 years. So they put people on every kind of diet there was, and they realized that every diet that weren't, people lost weight. But because of the fact there wasn't enough nutrition, people ended up losing lean muscle mass and gained all their weight back. Didn't matter what the diet was. So that was one of the first things they knew. There was no way they could put people on a calorie-centric system. So what they did, they found these 5 food groups from around the world with regular food. So that was the ingredients. But here's the other part that's completely different. And you can see it if you want to. Go to the website. But something called protein pacing. Nothing to do with something like time-restricted eating. Nothing to do with like eat when you're hungry. Nothing to do with calorie counting, etc. And that's part of the thing that we would explain to you, right? Because it is complicated, because it's not just eating protein. It's when you eat it, what's the sequence, how much, at what time, etc. And the second thing they did, and this was really revolutionary, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not intermittent fasting, not fasting. So that's what the people physically did, okay? And that's why if you go to the website, you'll see there's even a breakdown. It's a 20-minute video showing you, okay, this is what they did. These are the foods. We're not trying to hide anything. We don't need to do that, okay? And what was the result? Men and women with no exercise lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. And the second part was that they also, instead of losing water or lean muscle mass, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. No one's ever seen anything like this before. Plus blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down dramatically just in 30 days. Inflammation came down 25% in 30 days. No one's ever seen a result like that, ever. Yeah, well, he was a little... Yeah, he did good. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that road. But look, here's the thing for all of you: you have a choice. You don't have to listen to me. You can go listen, whether it's Dr. Berg or all these other people out there. Nothing against him. I think he's doing a good job. But there's no basis. There's no peer-reviewed human trial studies behind what him and everybody else is telling you to do. And what are their results? Well, the results measured in this This is the most telling study. This one here, the Journal of the American Medical Association, 12 months, 48 different studies, 7,200 people. And the name of the study was Comparison of Weight Loss Among Named Diet Programs. So in the study, they named paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, fasting, carb recycling, the Cornish diet, the Zone diet, lose weight for your blood type, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers Nutrisystem. In 12 months, they said, okay, well, no, I have no beef. I just said, I think he's doing great. But my question is that if what he's talking about is so wonderful, he would want to have a peer-reviewed human trial study. The reason I say that, for 20 years, I didn't have that. And so this major oncologist wouldn't even look at this without a peer-reviewed human trial study. That's how allopathic medicine works. Whether you like it or don't, that's it. No, I have no beef with him at all. I think he's doing great. I just say, with all these people, if what you had was so wonderful, where's your peer-reviewed human trial study? That's all. If you want to follow him, do whatever he tells you. It's fine. But what's the real medical proof of all these diets? In a year, 12, from time-restricted eating to paleo to keto, at the end of a year, from the most amount of weight lost on any of these diets to the least amount of weight lost in an entire year, it was 10 ounces. And they lost 16 pounds in a year. And about 40% of what they lost was lean muscle mass. These are facts. These aren't opinions. And that's why I just say that, because I went through that for 20 years. Look, I wrote 4 best-selling books with MD, some of the top medical doctors in the world. I did 20 shows on PBS, was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America, and did over 1,500 lectures all over the world at universities and hospitals, etc. But it meant nothing, Captain. Zero. It didn't mean anything. I don't know Cole Robinson. I have no idea who that is. But my point is, I'm not here to create controversy. I'm here to make people aware of what's available. If they want to follow whatever they want to follow, all I'm saying is that when you have an opportunity and you have something that has peer-reviewed human trial study, for example, no drug, thank goodness, no drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study. Talk about big pharma. No, that's true. And sometimes they get it wrong. I understand. But at least we have a scientific basis, not opinions. That's what I'm trying to get across to everyone. This is not about Peter Greenlaw's opinion. This is not about the New Health Conversation opinion. I mean, Captain Howdy, you can go to the website. You can see it there for free. No gimmicks, no tricks. And listen to the interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world, who would tell you that whether it's Dr. Berg, any diet, they'll never recommend any diet ever again. Not my opinion. They said it. Well, there's a reason for that. Because they said it would be unethical for them to recommend to any of their patients a traditional diet. Now that they have this medical proof, they've cracked the code after almost 40 years. These are the top nutritional researchers in the world that have analyzed every diet out there. Again, don't get the impression that whether it's Dr. Berg, I don't have a beef with anybody. All I'm saying is that that's what makes us different, that we have peer-reviewed human trials of everything we're talking about. And I've had the great honor and privilege to work with some of the top medical doctors, geneticists, molecular biologists, nutraceutical chemists in the whole world. So I'm telling you that you have an incredible opportunity to change the rest of your life. And which website? Okay. You can see it up there, the New Health Conversation. So you can see which website. Let me put it up there for you again. Okay. You can see it right there. I just put it up. The New Health Conversation. And you can go, it's free to go there. And if you go there, we won't contact you. We don't need to. If you look at the medical evidence and you don't want to sign up for a free consultation, that's totally cool. But we offer you the option, if you do go there and like what you see, to sign up for a free consultation. I mean free. I've had people on here comment and say, well, how much is the free consultation? It's like, what? Are we that skeptical? I think we are. So the key to the whole thing is you can certainly do any form of traditional diet that you want. Well, what comes after the free consultation is you get to, well, again, they'll tell you based on what do you want to do? You want to gain weight? You want to lose weight? Do you want more energy? I mean, it's really, it's going to be up to you. But again, because it's a free consultation, I mean, if you think we're going to twist your arm or we're going to do some bait, we don't do that. We don't need to. But Captain, do yourself a favor. The reason we want you to go to the website, uninhibited, we're not going to contact you. You look at the medical proof, watch that interview with the leading nutritional researcher in the world. Then you may want to do a free consultation. Again, that's what's so different about what we do. I'm not seeing anybody else on social media offering free personal consultations. Maybe we're dumb. I don't know. But I have a lot of really, really motivated people who had life-changing results and decided, they wanted to be able to help other people because it's complicated. It's not like, hey, here's 3 recipes to lose weight. No, that doesn't work like this. This is completely, totally different. So what I would say in closing this podcast today is that I would hope or invite you to go to that website. You can see it there, the New Health Conversation. And if you like what you see, sign up for a free consultation or not. It's up to you. Well, see, again, why would you say that? A free consultation? I mean, what other words should I use? No charge? I mean, what else do you want me to call it? We don't charge you for the consultation. And you don't have to go there. That's up to you. If you want to follow whatever you're following, go for it. But with 80% of America overweight and 50% obese and 50% of Americans pre-diabetic, maybe you might want to consider a different option. Just maybe. For any of you, okay? So anyway, I'm going to close this podcast, and I hope that it was of value to you. And I hope you'll take the time to go to our website. And if you want, sign up for free consultation, okay? So everybody have a wonderful day. I'm going to sign off now, and we'll hopefully see some of you when you do a free consultation, okay? So goodbye, everybody.